Every day, a quiet tragedy occurs in the lives of many men. They systematically trade their long-term self-respect for immediate, short-term comfort. They swallow their actual thoughts. They agree with statements they know to be false. They reshape their schedules, their tone, and their boundaries just to ensure the people around them remain entirely undisturbed. They call this politeness. They call it being supportive or mature. But if we look beneath the surface, it is often something else. A deep anxiety about social tension. When you spend your life trying to manage everyone else's emotions, you aren't being virtuous. You are being dishonest. You are wearing a mask of compliance to avoid the discomfort of a single awkward moment. But human nature reacts predictably to absolute compliance. The world doesn't look at someone who is always agreeable and think, "What a profound soul." It simply stops noticing them. What is guaranteed is taken for granted. What requires zero effort to maintain is treated as having zero value. Welcome to Marble Mind. Today, we break down the reality of boundaries and what actual quiet strength looks like when you stop performing for approval. There is a critical difference between strategic maturity and pathological agreeableness. A mature man often chooses to de-escalate a conflict, to hold his tongue, or to let a minor slight pass. But he does this because his goals are larger than winning a petty argument. His restraint is a calculated choice. He has standards, he has a spine, and he knows exactly where his line is drawn. Submission looks identical on the outside, but its origin is entirely different. The submissive man stays quiet because he feels he has no choice. He apologizes for things he didn't do because he cannot handle the weight of someone else being upset with him. True strength does not walk around the room trying to look dangerous or unpredictable. It doesn't need to display teeth or remind everyone of its capacity for destruction. That is just another performance, another plea for the audience to notice you. Real authority is low drama, competent, and steady. It is the quiet understanding that your self-worth is not on the table for negotiation. You can be polite, you can be decent, and you can be reliable, but the moment your core standards are violated, you have the quiet capacity to simply close the door and walk away. The internet is full of cheap advice telling you to become unavailable as a tactic to make people chase you. They treat distance like a game, but games are transparent and people see through them. If you are deliberately ignoring a text for 3 hours just to look busy, you are still letting that person control your mind. Your focus is still entirely on them. Real scarcity is not a performance. It is a natural side effect of a man who is actively building a life of purpose. Your time should be scarce because you actually have things to do, skills to master, and responsibilities to uphold that matter more than managing someone else's casual boredom. High-status individuals do not build walls to play hard to get. They build walls to protect their focus. When your energy is directed toward meaningful work, you naturally stop double texting, you stop rearranging your life on a whim, and you stop begging for validation. You become selective because you have to be. Your availability becomes expensive on the entrance, ensuring that the few people who earn your time and trust actually value it on the level it deserves. A boundary is completely useless if it is treated as an invitation to a debate. When a weak person attempts to say no, they usually deliver a long defensive explanation along with it. They over-explain their reasons, offer alternatives, and apologize repeatedly. This oversharing is a subconscious plea for permission. You are effectively telling the other person, "Please tell me it's okay for me to refuse you." You are giving them the leverage to negotiate your boundaries. A man with genuine self-respect understands that his no is a complete sentence. It does not require a committee review. You state your position clearly, calmly, and without anger. And then you let the silence land. You do not need to fix the social awkwardness that follows. If the other person feels uncomfortable with your boundary, let them sit in that discomfort. It is their internal landscape to manage, not your job to repair. Consistency beats performative hardness every single time. You don't need to be cold. You just need to be clear. Your value increases the exact second you demonstrate that you are entirely willing to walk away from any table, any relationship, or any deal where respect is not being actively served. Scarcity dictates authority in every system on Earth. When an asset is everywhere, its utility remains, but its premium vanishes completely. Your presence must carry a heavy cost. If people can drain your energy for free, they will treat you like common infrastructure. They will use you when they are bored and forget you when they are satisfied. You must intentionally force a premium on your availability. Let the text sit unanswered while you are locked in execution. Let the invitation expire if it does not align with your trajectory. You are not being rude. You are treating your limited lifespan with the absolute gravity it deserves. The mirror. Protocol is the ultimate demonstration of emotional autonomy. When an individual attempts to provoke you, they are trying to hijack your internal state to serve their agenda. Reacting with anger means you have accepted their terms of negotiation. You have given them control. The steady man remains entirely transparent. You do not argue, you do not retaliate, and you do not offer a second chance. You simply look at their actions, adjust your position to absolute zero availability, and move forward. Your silence is not a tactical pause to punish them. It is the permanent closing of a gate. Let them talk to the stone wall. The ultimate test of your character is what your strength looks like when no one is watching, and there is absolutely no status to gain from looking tough. If your boundaries and your self-respect only exist when you have an audience to impress, you are still a performer. You are just playing the role of the stoic instead of the role of the pleaser. You are still dependent on their reaction. Marble Mind is about internal gravity. It is the weight of a man who is anchored in his own principles, completely independent of the noise of the crowd. Stop looking for witnesses to your growth. Stop asking the world to validate your boundaries. Pull your energy back into your own life. Focus on competence, maintain your standards, and let your consistency do the talking. You don't need to scream to be heard. The strongest presence is always felt in the absolute stillness of autonomy. Welcome to Marble Mind.